that show up. Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. Welcome to CWK Pour Over. This isn't CWK Over. This is CWK Live. I'm so excited. I got so many ideas running through my brain right now. I'm thrilled to be talking Star Wars, of course, with each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me. I am your host, Dan Z. Thrilled again to be back for another Facebook Live, one of the best parts of the week, and how great to start the weeks with Coffee with Kenobi, with my Star Wars friends and family right here. And it looks like we've got a lot of our dear friends joining us, which is wonderful. Hello, Aaron Harris. Great to have you, buddy. Aaron Harris, the host of Star Wars Reactions, joining us. My sweet little boy Mason is joining us. Hello, Mason. Mason, I've been watching the Home Run Derby, having the best time, but we paused it to do a little Facebook Live and talk Star Wars with everybody, so we're excited for that. Ben, good to be back. Hey, man, never have to be sorry. Welcome. We're very happy to have you back on the show. Daniel is here. Hello, Daniel. Good to have you, my friend. And Mary, of course, is with us. Hello, Mary. Happy Monday to you. I saw you just saw Black Widow. Looking forward to your thoughts on that. And Minta is here as well. This is the way it's CWK Day. I love it. I love how you always kick us off with that. So fun. So much fun. Jamie is here. Happy Home Run Derby Monday. Apologies in advance to split my viewing attention tonight. Jamie, no worries, brother. Good to have you. I was just talking that we are DVRing it, and we watched up to the first three rounds, or first three matchups, and we're going to watch the rest of it after the show because we've got some Star Wars to talk about. Hello, Jason. Nice to be back after a week away on vacation. Very good. Where were you on vacation, buddy? Let us know. Josh is back, and so is Dave. Hello, Dave. Dave, the collector extraordinaire who posts the most cool things in the CWK Cafe, which is, of course, is our Facebook group where we talk all things Star Wars in a family-friendly, spoiler-free place. Let me get the little card up for that. Yep, the CWK Cafe. Join us for a Star Wars conversation all the time, 24/7, www.coffeewithkenobi.com/community. You'll see Dave's collections as well as Ross's and everybody else. So it's great to have you tonight. We're going to be talking about your top 5 favorite moments from Star Wars The Bad Batch episode Devil's Deal and Star Wars Trivia Returns. So let's take a quick catch up and look at what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week.
And now, let's see what's brewing in the Star Wars universe this week.
Yeah, this week in Star Wars, there's a lot of great figures coming out. Trapper Wolf, Dave Filoni himself, is going to be immortalized as a Black Series action figure. I'm lining up a lot of great interviews to share with you this week and next. And, of course, all the fun stuff that I've been working on for Galaxy's Edge. Hello, Luis, the best coffee in the galaxy. Well, cheers to you, my friend. Nice to have you back on the program with us. So, People have been really wonderful in asking me, hey, when is the Galaxy's Edge audio tour going to be finished? Well, I am working very, very diligently at it. My goal is to have it out by the end of July, so fingers crossed that the force is with us. I'm very excited about giving you an opportunity to experience and enjoy even more of Galaxy's Edge, whether you make it for the very first time or whether you're a seasoned veteran of Batu and you just want to return and see a lot of great stuff. So good. So it looks like Dave was in the Dells 2 weeks ago, and Jason just got back from the Dells. So how about that? Very cool. I've been to the Dells once for our first anniversary. And we had a great time. It's a beautiful place. So that's the update on the Galaxy's Edge stuff. Working on that simultaneously with the ebook guide. So that's going to be fun. Ben says he's going to be at a family reunion in the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee next week. Great. Well, Ben, I hope they have Wi-Fi so you can still join us. But if not, of course, you can catch the show here on YouTube and on our Instagram page as well. So thanks to everybody who has filled out the survey. I posted the survey in the CWK Cafe and on Coffee with Kenobi's Twitter feed because I want to move the time of Facebook Live. It's still going to be Monday nights. I don't ever see that changing. I guess that's possible, but I don't imagine that will change. But I want to move it up a little bit earlier to give more people a chance to tune in and to listen, and also so that I can just do fun stuff with my family a little bit earlier in the evening. Honestly, that's a big part of it. But I also want to know what works best for all of you, how you can join me. And I don't want to leave anybody out. You are my loyal people that have been with me from the beginning. We've been doing this for a little over a year, and I want to make sure that we can find a time. So if you haven't filled out the survey yet, I'll repost it in the CWK Cafe and on Coffee with Kenobi's Facebook page. But please fill it out and let me know which time you prefer. It looks like right now what's leading by a slight margin is moving it ahead or backwards an hour, I would say. Right now it's 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time, and it looks like people would be okay with 7 o'clock Central Time. But a lot of you are also saying that you like it the way it is, so just please let me know so I can best accommodate how we can bring the Star Wars community and conversation to you on Facebook Live. All right, very good. So great again to have all of you here. Let's go ahead and jump into the top 5 for tonight. Top 5 favorite moments from the Bad Batch episode, Devil's Deal. A fascinating episode, truly, because even though it's the Bad Batch is hardly in it. In fact, I don't think they come into the show until 13 minutes and 7 seconds into the actual program itself. So, but that doesn't mean there was a disappointing episode. Not in the least. There was a lot of great stuff to be excited about, and I'm pretty confident it's going to be showing up a lot in our conversation tonight. Yeah, Daniel, I'll be sure to post the survey at the top. It will help me out a ton. I think it's only 2 questions as well, but I definitely appreciate anybody who can take the time to do so. Josh is in for an hour earlier. He's Eastern, so it'll be 8 for him, which will be great. Okay, good. That's good to know. So Josh wants to clear the air and say, before we start the top 5, I'm going to say I struggle with this most recent episode to be brief. I'm worried the Bad Batch story will be taken over and it will no longer be about them. I've had a lot of people ask me about this episode so far, and this is what I will say. Mason has been very clear, too, and quite astutely, that the Bad Batch is hardly in this episode. And that's true. And it is called the Bad Batch. But this is the thing. It's part 1 of a 2-parter. So my hope, my optimism is that will pay off. I really feel like it's going to pay off. It's going to be worth it. And I think it will all make sense why it's broken down the way that it has. So I would just encourage you to stay with it. Let's see what we did think was some of our highlights for this episode. Number 5 for me is I didn't mention the refinery. This is when Hera, that's right, Hera Syndulla is in Star Wars The Bad Batch. Boom! What a great experience. Definitely much more on that later. But when Hera is walking with her mother, and Hera mentions the refinery... her mother mentions the refinery, and Hera says, wait a minute, I didn't mention that. So then we get those connections, those synapses fire in our brains, and they say, wait a minute, Hera's mom knew about this? She was in on it from the whole time? How cool. And then they kind of say, oh, tell me what you saw. I just like that little subtle character moment, the fact that Hera's mother is actually supporting her daughter and she's not going to chastise her. So good. Yeah, it's basically a 2-parter to me. Because it ends with a cliffhanger. So surely the next episode is going to show that. I have no inside information on that, unfortunately, but it just kind of feels that way. Number 5 for Mary. The art of Ryloth is amazing. The crowd art was so detailed. The animation group just knocks it out of the park every week. I agree with that. Wait a minute. Aaron says his number 5 is Chopper Aaron. I gotta say, buddy, I feel like you're gonna say all of your top fives are gonna be the exact same thing. We'll see, because I know you rank. I know you love Chopper the way I love Chopper too. Number five for Minta is being back on Ryloth. Well, that's cool. I like that so much. I thought that was cool. Jason says, Chopper, I was so happy to see that little dude. Chopper is my favorite droid. I feel weird saying that, putting him over R2. I don't feel like that's fair. Either way, Chopper is about as good as it gets for me. Ben's number five, learning that Sid is helping to get arms to Ryloth. I know her motivation is money, but it is good to know she's supporting the seeds of the rebellion. She does seem to be, and hopefully it's for altruistic reasons, because so far that seems to be the case. Aaron is confirming that what we mentioned earlier is a two-parter. Number five for Daniel, seeing the Syndulas for the first time. That was really breathtaking to see Cham and his wife. That was really fantastic. Aaron's got a clever smile. I don't know. Number five for Josh, Chopper. I love Chopper. My concern is so present, but Chopper's great. He seems like he was nicer in his youth. That's funny. I love Chopper. Jamie's got a number five. His is going with Chopper as well. I've made no secret about this. I say it pretty regularly on Coffee with Kenobi, but Chopper is one of my favorites. Period. And Rebels is definitely one of my very favorite Star Wars things in the 40-plus year history of the franchise. So, yay to number five and Chopper. Number five for Mason is Hera. Seeing Hera for the first time, realizing it was a younger Hera, Mason was so fired up. So that is Mason's number five, similar to some of your number fives as well. Let's see. Ben says, I had the exact same thought. He didn't seem as snarky yet. Oh, I'll give him time. He hasn't had a chance to be snarky yet because he's only been around his family, basically. But yeah, I would like, that would be kind of fun to see if Chopper does get more cynical, but hopefully not for tragic reasons. But something tells me he just hasn't had a chance to really get his grumpy on. And of course, well, actually, I'm going to save that. I've got a bonus trivia question that I'm going to bring to all of you. All right, let's go ahead and jump into number four. Number four for here is Hauser and Empathy. So Hauser is a clone that we meet. I don't remember seeing Hauser before. Feel free to correct me on that. I certainly am wrong plenty of times. But I liked seeing Hauser as an empathetic clone. A sympathetic clone, especially during a time when Order 66 has happened. We know what the inhibitor chip does. The Bad Batch certainly knows what the inhibitor chip does. So seeing Hauser being empathetic, Mace and I were wondering if he was immune, or is he just fighting the programming, or what's going on? So I'm looking forward to hearing more about this character. Apologize if you hear my dog barking in the background. Let's see. Oh, he hasn't had a chance. Wait till he gets around the Bad Batch. Oh, won't that be fun? Oh, I hope that happens. Number four for Minta, seeing her as mother for the first time, though I fear what will happen to her in the next episode. Minta, I agree. I was afraid it was going to happen in this episode, but she's not in Clone Wars, so I'm sorry, she's not in Rebels. But we know, those of us who are longtime consumers of the extended lore in the books and whatnot, know that she's probably not going to be around. So I don't know. That was a rough one. But we'll see. So far, she's great. She's absolutely great. Number four for Mary, Hera's mother, saying, tell me everything you saw about the refinery. I feel like she's ready to start rebelling before Cham is. No doubt about it. And that's the same as my number five, Mary. I really think that her mother is definitely going to be all about it, and already is all about it before Cham. Number four for Jason, Omega's growth. She carries herself with confidence and sounds experienced. Yes, she does. And she wasn't in it very much, but it was great when she was there. Number four for Aaron, Chopper in all caps. I love it. Number four for Daniel, Omega and Hera meeting, the tour of the ship and Omega's room. Oh, that was a cool one, especially how she said, well, normally this is a gun turret, but when there's no one shooting at us, it's my room. I thought that was really sweet. Let's see. Aaron says was thinking the same thing. Josh, Rampart. Admiral Rampart. Interesting to see Rampart's ascension to power, and looks like he's taking some pointers from Tarkin in his ruthlessness. Yes, he is. Although he does seem to be more willing to showcase a little bit of phony charm, whereas Tarkin has no tolerance for anything. But I do see what you mean. The ruthlessness is definitely there, which is good if you're on the Imperial side, but bad if you're in the Rebellion, or the burgeoning, very, very early burgeoning Rebellion. Number four, Ben. I didn't mention the refinery moment too, the daughter-mother relationship being shown. Her mother lives on through Hera. Beautifully said. Very beautifully said. Number 4 for Mason is as soon as the clones show up and Hera's looking up into the sky and Chopper goes, uh-oh. That is Mason's number 4. I think that's a great number 4. I love that one. Chopper saying, uh-oh, when the clones suddenly show up in Hera and Chopper's point of view. Hey, seeing Chopper and Hera again. Oh, man. Refresh my memory, Cad, on who is piloting this account. I'm sorry, I've had a lot of wonderful Star Wars conversations since we last did our Facebook Live show, so please refresh my memory. I'm thinking Richard. Am I right? Am I right? Please let me know. My most sincere apologies for not remembering, but you're using the other account, which is super fun, but I can't remember your real name. And I want to make sure that I give you credit for your great thoughts. All right, let's go into number 3. Number 3 here of top 5 favorite moments. James, I said Richard. James. Awesome. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Did you know flying's a feeling? This is when Omega is talking to the Bad Batch after speaking with Hera about flying, and then Tech says, "What feeling?" Very logical and very extremely confused because you can't quantify. Did you know flying's a feeling of what that actually means? But the little quick character humorous moment between the two was just great, so great. So I love that little quick exchange between Omega and Tech. Number 3 for me, to Hauser's being sympathetic for the Syndulla situation, possibly a new recruit for the Bad Batch. You know what? I thought the same thing. We shall see. Number 3 for Mary, Hauser. He's clearly conflicted with everything that's happening on Ryloth and in the Empire. Definitely. I think he's a really neat character. Cool hair, too. Cool clone hair. Number 3 for Jason, Hera's origin, a rebel even in her youth, plus the great voice work by Vanessa Marshall. I know. Vanessa was amazing in this episode. Number 3 for Aaron, spicing up a little C110P, the call sign for, you guessed it, Chopper. I need to have a little thing where I just push a button and Chopper makes a noise instead of, yeah, I need to find a Chopper cranky thing. Josh, the clones. Interesting to see clones with personalities post Order 66. That's sure to mean, so it's very interesting. I like it too. I would like to think they don't all just follow without any agency. But of course, it seems like they would because of the chip. But Hauser's different. He's a wild card. We'll find out. Number 3 for Ben. Sham's speech was people focusing on the good in this moment. I also enjoyed juxtaposing his speech and choices compared to the separatist senator's speech and choices last week. You know what? That's a good call. The two separate senators back to back and how they handle the imperial occupation. That was really cool. Good call. Number 3 for Mason is similar to what a lot of you have been saying for your number 3s. Number 3 for Mason is Hauser. He says it's like he has no chip. And it does seem that way. So I guess we're going to find out, hopefully, on Friday. So let's find out. All right, let's go ahead and jump into number 2. Number 2 for me is the Chopper and Hera intro. When we first see the scope pop up, I mean, when I see the Syndullas, you want to think, oh my gosh, Hera's going to show up, but I don't want to be disappointed, so I'm just telling myself, deep breath, Dan, deep breaths. She might show up, she might not. It's very hard to say. But when we first see Chopper scope and then Hera, a younger Hera, pure magic. So I love that. A home run for sure. Chopper and Hera's intro is number 2 for me. Number 3 for Daniel was the score, especially Hera's theme. I love that too. That was nice. I was trying to place what it sounds like in comparison to other Star Wars sounds and music, but I love that. It's a great call, Daniel. Anyone else freak out? According to Josh, when the chubby senator Orn Frita died, a crisis of canon since in Lords of the Sith. Orn Frita is in. Let me think about this. Isn't Orn Frita in Aftermath? Or am I thinking of another character? I think I'm thinking of another character. So I don't know. I can't remember. So we'll have to do a little digging on that. I will certainly check. Number 2 for me, to Omega and Hera's interactions with each other. And I just love the quote, flying as a feeling. It's pretty magical for sure. Number 2 for Jason, Captain Hauser, his armor, seeing his face and his demeanor all took me back to the pre-Order 66 clones that I love so much. Plus, his compassion for Hera when she was captured, and his apparent hesitation to act against Cham and his fighters. Yes, that was cool. That was very, very cool. I want to see what's going to happen with him. Mary's number 2. Hera and Chopper first popping up, then Hera looking up to the sky and flying her hand with the birds. Wasn't that beautiful? I just love the symbolism of that. It was just really great. Number 2 for Ben, Omega gives Hera a tour of the ship and bonds with her. Everyone seems to bond with Omega quickly. Flying is about feeling. Pretty magical. Pretty magical stuff. Can't really go wrong with that. Number 2 for Aaron is Hera. Oh, you pulled a surprise there, buddy. I was so thrilled to see her and hear Vanessa again. I was thrilled beyond belief. I know, man. I know, again, I know how much you love Rebels, and that was cool. A very, very cool thing. James thinks Hauser still has his personality because there was no Jedi on the planet when Order 66 was issued. Oh, interesting. The last Jedi we saw on the planet was Emma Gonna Die. It was killed in action during Season 3 of the Clone Wars. Oh, nice. Good call on that, my friend. Very good call on that. So I should have looked that up before, but I didn't. So thank you, James, for clearing that up for us. Wonderful. Daniel, I really need to see how another clone slash Hauser can I place him from anywhere. I know. It's great to see another clone and to see a clone with a personality instead of them keeping their buckets on. If you notice, the ones that are just purely evil besides Crosshair, because of the inhibitor chip, always keep their helmets on. But Hauser takes his off several times in front of the Imperials. So interesting. Number 2 for Mason is the one we've all been saying repeatedly, some more than others. Number 2 for Mason is Chopper, the return of Chopper. Great stuff, of course. James's number 2 is seeing Cham again. Could be wrong. That's theory. Hey, you know, I love it. It's very interesting to kind of pontificate on what might be, so I appreciate that, James. Let's go ahead and jump into number 1. Our number 1 favorite thing about Devil's Deal for me, Hera and flying. Mary hinted, I mentioned this for her number 2, I believe. But for me, when Hera looks up and she sees the bird, and then she uses her hand to kind of mimic what it feels like to fly, and then later there are 3 birds flying across. That was just absolutely beautiful, almost gut-wrenching, because we know how important flying is to Hera. And to me, I think she's the best pilot in Star Wars. Better than Poe, better than my boy Han Solo. I think Hera's the best. And we're seeing the early seeds of that passion, which is really wonderful stuff. Number 1, for me, to the return of Hera and Chopper. Need I say more? Exactly. It's great stuff. Josh gives us a number 2. Cham's action sequence, the sequence where Cham attempts to break out Hera, was very cool. Show how much Cham cares for Hera, but the symbolism of the situation shows their rocky relationship. Cham cares for her, but it becomes overprotective. Interesting. No such thing as being too over-analytical on coffee with Kenobi. We welcome your insights, Josh. Number 1 for Jason, more connections to characters from Rebels. I'm very interested to see where the show goes, as am I. As am I, my friend. Number 1 for Mary, Omega, and Hera on the ship. Hera telling Omega that flying is a feeling, then Omega repeating that to the team text response is just so tech. I love it. My number 3. I think it's fantastic. I love that it's your number 1. Number 1 for Aaron is Hera and Chopper together again. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. Well played, everyone. Thank you so much, Aaron. Your top 5 was extra fun because I thought you were going to say Chopper for all of them. Ben's number 1. Return to Ryloth and a young Hera and Chopper return. Seeing her dream of flying and knowing already she'll achieve it is great. It's great. It's dramatic irony where you know it's going to happen, but the character on the page or on the screen is not. Great stuff. Number 1 for Mason was the meeting and growing instant friendship connection of Omega and Hera. So Omega and Hera as friends is Mason's number 1. Wonderful, heartwarming. 2 great characters. Interesting to see them together like that. James says, Hauser such a cool character. It's rare to see a clone with a personality after Order 66. I love how he shouted Basuri. She's just a child in front of the Empire with no fear of what could happen to him. Yes, good call, James. That's a great number 1. He's very brave. I half expected him to get arrested or worse, but it didn't happen. Number 1 for Daniel. The absolute hands-down best was when Chopper's antenna shows him up behind the rocks, followed by Hera. So touching to see my old young friends. Yes, exactly. That's why I don't like spoilers, because these moments that we have when we see returning characters and we don't expect to see them, it's just so wonderful. There's nothing like that gasp out loud, take your breath away moment. That's why I'm an anti-spoiler guy. So that's wonderful. Aaron's honorable mention, seeing the Y-Wing crashed at the Syndulla homestead again, especially knowing the connection Chopper has with it. Oh, good catch, man. Good catch. I thought that Hera was older when she met Chopper, so maybe I'm misremembering, or maybe it's been sort of uh, the story's been a little bit modified. I don't know. I'll have to revisit that. In fact, did they even show it? Aaron, help me out. Did they even show, or anybody? Did they even show the actual scene when Hera meets Chopper again? I don't remember. I don't know. But Jason loved. I'm not sure which one you're referring to, Jason, because the comments come in sort of at different times. But Jason loved seeing it too. I gave Mason's number one. I gave mine number one. This was great fun. And it's time to do some Star Wars trivia. But before we get to that, no, they don't show. Okay, so then maybe I'm just, it's just maybe my own little headcanon. Who knows? One thing I do know is that next week's top five is going to be top five moments from episode 12 of The Bad Batch. Top five moments from episode 12 of The Bad Batch. So Aaron says they just told Destroying Rebels. That's what I thought, but I couldn't remember. One for Josh. Hera in Flight. I was going to put on Hera and Omega specifically, but after hearing you, I had to modify it. Hera in Flight in general is just so powerful. The symbolism of her saying the instruments guide you, but you need to plot your own course reflects Hera's personality. She believes in, let me get that back. She believes in respecting her superiors, such as Jam and Mon Mothma, but ultimately comes down to what you feel is right. It's actually pretty cool. Like, it's one of the reasons why Palpatine was frustrated with the Jedi. One of the many reasons, and there's certainly nothing even close to good about Palpatine. He says, why you fall into dogmatic stuff? What Palpatine means is he just changed the rules to fit his needs. But Hera's saying, go with your heart and your gut and just trust. And that's great. It's faith. It's about faith. It's about believing in who you are. Hera's a great example. Mary says, I rewatched Rebels Season 3, Episode 5, Hera's Heroes. The intro of Thrawn to the Rebels group when Hera's trying to retrieve the family. Excuse me, Calicori. Vanessa goes, that French accent during the episode. She also refers to rescuing Chopper from a crash Y-Wing. So there you go. That's this specific episode. Thank you, Mary, for looking that up for us. All right, cool. So we've got next week's top five. Now we're going to go into, of course, Star Wars trivia. You know the rules for Star Wars trivia. Don't look them up. Don't Google them. Don't grab the Star Wars book, although you should still pick it up because, you know, it's a book that I'm very proud of, and it's a lot of fun. It gives a lot of good Star Wars facts. Hashtag shameless plug. But I just want you to do your best, and we'll figure it out together. So these are questions that, well, they're Star Wars questions. I'm not going to give you any more hints than that. They're going to be from everywhere. The first question, who is the voice of Chopper? In the credits, it says Chopper as himself, like it always did in Rebels. But who is the actual voice of Chopper? Anybody know? I'll wait for your answer, of course. Man, I really need to add some more questions here. Josh says Dave Filoni. So does Aaron. So does Jason. Awesome. Okay, those are good guesses. Anybody else? Who is the voice of Chopper? James says Filoni. Mary says Filoni. Mason says Filoni. Ben says Alan Tudyk does every obscure voice, but it's Filoni. Minta says it's Filoni. Well, we're just going to cut to the chase. Yes, it is Dave Filoni. That was an easy one. Luis, thank you, buddy. I got this last year. It's actually a year ago tonight that Mason and I, Tom Gross, Corey Clubb, and our families went to a drive-in and watched The Empire Strikes Back outside. It was a year ago. I wore the shirt, and I was like, sweet, I'm wearing this tonight. Great. I love it. So thank you, Luis. All right, so the next question is, what two pilots are Luke's wingmates during his Death Star trench run? Which two pilots are Luke's wingmates during his Death Star trench run? That's correct. He only mentioned Filoni in the final episode. Daniel is not sure. Josh says Wedge and Biggs. You learned something cool. Oh, good. I'm glad. I love it. Aaron says Wedge and Biggs. Wedge and Darren's not sure. Darren, use the Force, buddy. I got faith in you. Jason says Biggs, Darklighter, and Wedge. Ben says Biggs and Antilles. Minta says Wedge and Biggs. Josh says Wedge and Biggs. Okay. Mary says Biggs and Wedge. Mason says Wedge and Biggs. Well, guess what? Everybody is 2 for 2. It is Wedge, Antilles, and Biggs, Darklighter. You got it. You have got it. All right. Let's go to the next one. Who ruffles a Padawan's feathers by crowing? Oh, Anakin's not a Jedi yet? Baked potato wedges with barbecue sauce. I missed something there, but I I look forward to the context for that. Sorry, bad joke. It was funny. I like it. Okay, so who wonders aloud? Why do I? No, sorry. Who ruffles a Padawan's feathers by crowing? Oh, Anakin's not a Jedi yet? Who ruffles a Padawan's feathers by crowing? Oh, Anakin's not a Jedi yet? Give you a few moments to think about it. Jason says, it's Padme Amidala. Okay. Who ruffles a Padawan's feathers by crowing? Oh, Anakin's not a Jedi yet? Is it, Jason says Padme. James, he's being Cad Bane saying I hated Skywalker and his Padawan. Nice. Ben says Padme. Mason says Padme. Biggs, big, wedgies. My apologies. No, I liked it. I like a good dad joke, brother. It's good stuff. Darren says Padme. Okay. Josh is not sure about this one. The question again one more time. Aaron says he thinks it was Padme. A lot of options. The question one last time is who ruffles a Padawan's feathers by crowing? Oh, Anakin's not a Jedi yet. Daniel says Queen Padme, and so does Minta. Well, guess what? The answer is Padme Amidala. That is correct. Okay, let's see. Which pilot has the call sign Gold Leader during the second Death Star battle? Which pilot has the call sign Gold Leader during the second Death Star battle? Good question. I didn't write these questions, so I'm not giving myself credit. Ben says, I'm in charge of security, my lady. That's right. That's a good, helps to kind of give it context. But what pilot is the call sign Gold Leader during the second Death Star battle? Anybody know? Anybody know? Jason says Lando? Question mark. Okay. Anybody else? So far, only one person has weighed in so far. Dave says that's a tough one. Josh says Lando or Wedge. Aaron says Lando. Mason says Lando. Anybody else have any ideas? We've got a couple of good guesses. Ben wants to know if it's the Falcon. James wants to know if it's Hondo. Minta is completely uncertain based on the 3 emojis you put with no expression, which is pretty funny. So again, last time, what pilot has the call sign Gold Leader during the second Death Star battle? Mary's uncertain too. You know what? I really would have had to think about this one as well. Daniel says Wedge. The answer is Lando Calrissian. Dave said Akbar. No, the answer to what pilot has the call sign Gold Leader during the second Death Star battle is Lando Calrissian. All right. Was there one? It sure was. It was Lando. All right. Let's move on to the next question. Who shoots the breeze with a red astro droid outside the Mos Eisley Cantina? Who shoots the breeze with a red astro droid? I think they mean astromech droid. Outside the Mos Eisley Cantina. Wow. Interesting. Some of these are much more challenging than I think I initially anticipate. Because I would have scratched my head on this one too. Who shoots the breeze with a red astromech outside the Mos Eisley Cantina? Darren says, was there one? Josh says, what? Ben says, so 9-9 was what? Gold co-leader? That's a good question. How do you figure that out? You know, what's the call sign for a co-pilot? What's Chewbacca's call sign? Interesting. I'll read the question again. Who shoots the breeze or converses with a red astromech droid outside the Mos Eisley Cantina? So far, we don't have any guesses. Wow. Interesting. You mean outside the cantina when the Duvak freaked out? You know, it doesn't give me any context here, but it's as good a guess as any. Daniel says 3PO. Aaron says a sand trooper. Jason says, man, just when I thought I was doing well, some space pilot with 70s looking hair. That's a good guess too. Ben says a Jawa. Interesting. Very interesting. So one last time. Who shoots the breeze with a red astromech droid outside the Mos Eisley Cantina? Mason says he doesn't know what that means. What that means is who is having a conversation with a red astromech droid outside the cantina. It's a quick thing. But who shoots the breeze with them with a red astromech droid outside the Mos Eisley Cantina? Mita says a Tusken Raider. No one's gotten this one. Mr. Enigma, the Riddler, no. The answer is R2-D2. Apparently R2-D2 is shooting the breeze with a red astromech. So that was the answer. I don't think anyone said, let me scroll through again. Nope. No one got that one right. How about that? A couple people saying Obi-Wan or Stormtroopers, but no, it's R2-D2. Interesting. All right. Well, let's move on to a different one. Hopefully one that's a little less ambiguous or uncertain. What does Qui-Gon promise that Watto will have before the sun sets? What does Qui-Gon promise that Watto will have before the sun sets? A good question. Is that a rap where no one gets it? I feel like I think we've had a question that no one knew maybe once or twice ever. It's pretty rare. I think it's been a long time. It's a good question. This one is, what does Qui-Gon promise that Watto will have before the sun sets? Darren says his money. Okay, Darren. Thank you, sir. Anybody else want to weigh in on this one? Josh says his winnings. I guess Minta says his credits, and if the ship, if he wins, his just desserts, not exactly his winnings. Mary says money from the pod race. Daniel says credits. Jason says the money he wins from the pod race. There's a specific thing that Qui-Gon promises, but I'll accept any variation of what he actually says, really. Anybody else want to weigh in on this before we move on to the next question? The answer to what does Qui-Gon promise that Watto will have before the sun sets is his winnings. So it appears that everybody got that one right. Mason weighed in money as well. And Aaron did his too. All right, good job. Good job. Ooh, here's a question I definitely would not have known the answer to. I'll see how everyone does. What color are the eyes of a Trade Federation droid starfighter? What color are the eyes of a Trade Federation droid starfighter? Anybody know? What color are the eyes of a Trade Federation droid starfighter? James says red. Josh says red. Aaron says red. Dave says red. I don't know why I thought this was hard. Mason says red. Darren says red. I think I was thinking. I was overthinking it because yes. Oh, Ben says crimson. Look at you, Ben. Daniel says red. The answer is red. I was suddenly thinking about seeing them in space, swooping around. Yes, it's definitely red. It's one of the only red things on their ships themselves. Okay, the next one's way too easy. I'm not going to ask you that one. Okay, here's a good one. A good challenging one for you Phantom Menace fans. What does Anakin's friend Seek, that's the name of the character, Seek, S-E-E-K. What does Anakin's friend Seek predict Anakin will become if he keeps pod racing? So what does Anakin's friend Seek, again, Seek is the name of the character, so what does Anakin's friend Seek predict Annie will become if he keeps pod racing? Anybody know? What does Anakin's friend predict Annie will become if he keeps pod racing? Darren says Banta fodder. Ben says Banta poodoo. I like these guesses. Anybody else? What does Anakin's friend Seek predict Annie will become if he keeps pod racing? We have the guess Banta fodder, Banta poodoo. Amita says Banta fodder. James says it sounds like Bug Squat, I think. Cameron says, hey Cameron, what's up, man? He says Bantha Poodoo. Aaron says Poodoo. James says Darth Vader. That's probably the funniest answer, I would say. Mason says Poodoo. Mary says dead. Bantha do. I love it. Any kind of euphemism of Star Wars poop is always welcome, for sure. Oh, look at Josh's. Anakin Splatwalker. Nice. Josh and James bringing the humor. I love it. Okay. So who does Anakin's friend Seek predict Annie will become if he keeps pod racing? The answer is Bug Squash. Bug Squash. Jason was the closest with Bug Squat, so we'll give that to you, Jason. But the official answer is Bug Squash. And I think he even does something with his hands as well. Okay, we're going to do one more question. One more question. Let's see. I feel like that's easy. All right, I'll try it anyway. How many movies mention the Death Star in the opening crawl? This is a fabulous question. How many movies mention the Death Star in the opening crawl? What a question that is. How many movies, of course in the Star Wars franchise, mention the Death Star in the opening crawl? Any ideas there? Dun dun dun. Which one? That's the question, isn't it? How many movies mention the Death Star? It doesn't really. So Darren says 3. Cameron says 1. Dave says 3. Ben says 1. Josh says both or just 1. Mason says 3. Minta says 3. How many movies mention the Death Star in the opening crawl? Jason says Empire and Jedi, 2 of them. James says I could be wrong, but I believe only the original films 4, 5, and 6, so that would be 3. Mary says 1. Daniel says 2. I love this. A really great, wide-ranging amount of answers. Wonderful. Mary is changing her answer to 2. I will allow it, Mary, for sure, since you're a teacher. Anybody else? Aaron says 3. A few more seconds. If we just go with Death Star, it's 2. If we go with both, it's the OG trilogy. Okay, well, the card isn't specific, so we'll just say, it just says mention Death Star. So we'll just stick with that. So, Josh, I'll let you decide on that. Darren says it could be 4. Not sure. Ben says 2.5. No, that is definitely a unique answer. The answer to how many movies mention the Death Star in the opening crawl, the answer is 3. All 3 original trilogy films mention that. And I'd forgotten that The Empire Strikes Back mentions that at the beginning. So if you said 3, you got the correct answer. Very good, everybody. Star Wars Trivia. It's good to have Star Wars Trivia back. I think we took a hiatus last month because of all the other stuff going on in the Galaxy's Edge adventures. But please be sure to join us when we do the Star Wars Trivia next month. But of course, I hope you join us every week. Let's be honest. Let's go ahead and jump into Ask Tansy. And yes, Ben, yours rounds up to 3, so we'll count that. Sure, why not? All right, let's go into Ask Tansy. All right, here is your chance to ask me any questions about Star Wars, podcasting, coffee with Kenobi, anything that is Star Wars related that you want to ask me, fire away. I'm happy to answer anything that I can. Thanks to everybody again for the continued excitement for the Star Wars Character Encyclopedia Updated and Expanded Edition, co-written by myself, Amy Raquel, Pablo Hidalgo, and a bunch of other wonderful authors. That is coming out on November 2nd, so I can't wait to get this in everybody's hands so they can talk about it and learn a lot of cool stuff about Star Wars characters and maybe think about them in different ways. We'll see. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Obligatory Loki and Black Widow reaction. So Black Widow I love. I think it's great. I'm going to talk about it a lot on Pour Over, the Coffee with Kenobi Patreon show that I hope everybody is able to join us for. If you're a member of the CWK Alliance, that is where we're going to go into much more depth about that. Let me get the little logo up here for that. CWK Alliance. Boom. Yeah, that's where we talk about all things popular culture. It's a weekly podcast, a video podcast, as well as an audio one. Be sure to check that out. But I love Black Widow. Loki, it's been kind of up and down for me. Overall, I like it. It's my least favorite of the Disney Plus Marvel shows, but I do like it, and I'm really excited to see how they're going to end it, for sure. If Disney makes an expansion to Galaxy's Edge, what would you like it to be? I would like it to be in my backyard. That's what I would like it to be. Honestly, as long as it's the same team making it, I don't mind. Galaxy's Edge is one of my favorite places to be, of course. It would be fun to see Tatooine, maybe, just because that's so familiar to us. And both Florida and California can get pretty hot, so that would make sense. But I don't know. It's a good question. Am I planning on attending any cons this summer and fall? Well, this summer, I don't think so. In the fall, I don't have anything planned now, but that doesn't mean that won't change. I know Indiana Comic-Con is coming up in the fall, and I think some of our members of the CWK Cafe and CWK Alliance will be there, so I'm thinking about Indiana, but I will let you know, Mary, for sure. What about you? Jason, our Disney is going to release new shows on Wednesdays. Does that mean no more new Star Wars shows on Friday? I hope not. I'm not a big fan of Wednesdays. I feel like Wednesday's going to be a Marvel thing. No one's ever said officially. I like Star Wars on Fridays just because it's the tradition. Wherever it goes, I'll follow, as I know you will too, Jason. But that's a good question. So far, I think Marvel is just doing the Wednesday thing. Darren says a larger hotel or new section of the hotel not open yet that might have different lengths of stays. Ooh, interesting. Different lengths of stays. Maybe, yeah, it would be great to find out more about the Halcyon, the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, the hotel that's going to be opening. What did they say, in 2022? Is that what they said? I feel like that's what Disney announced. So, yeah, and just getting that hotel or getting expansions to it will be absolutely great stuff. Okay, well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me each and every week on CWK Live, CWK's Facebook Live every Monday night for now, at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Again, be sure to fill out that survey that I posted in the CWK Cafe on Twitter and on our Coffee with Kenobi Facebook page. Tell me to decide how best to reschedule our Monday night shows so that the most people can join us. Again, every week be sure to bring a friend with you so we can spread the word and everybody can be a part of this amazing Star Wars community that I'm so fortunate to be a part of because of each and every one of you. Thank you so much. It's great fun to talk Star Wars with you. What can I say? Mary's going to Lexington Comic Con in September. Not sure about the others. Daniel says you got to come out to our Virginia, I assume it's VT Sci-Fi Festival in October. Virginia Tech, is that what that stands for, Daniel? That does sound like a great time. Minta is excited. Josh says Loki is fantastic. Black Mirror's pretty good. I'm not gonna. Yeah, let's see. Introduce the plot, makes the rest of them less important. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but feel free to DM me, Josh, and I'm happy to shoot the breeze with you and talk about that because I know what you're talking about. Mary, have a great weekend as well. Meantime, may the force be with you. Aaron, thank you for an awesome night. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Jason, for joining us. A fun show. It's a great fun show because I get to spend it with all of you. Here's the Star Wars thoughts, comments, questions, and opinions. Please spread the word about this amazing, positive, family-friendly, spoiler-free community we have. This community is only as strong as the people in it, so I'm very thankful that I get to be a part of it with each and every one of you. Vermont. Oh boy, I'm sorry. I've still got Star Wars on the brain, so I wasn't thinking of what VT is in Orabesh, I guess. Thanks, Daniel. I love it. I mean, that would be so fun to do. So to Josh, thank you, my friend. Have a good night as well. I hope to see you all next week as we're going to talk about our top 5 favorite moments from the next episode of Star Wars The Bad Batch, the second part of this interesting episode that was very Hera and Chopper specific with the Syndulas. I'm excited to see where it's going to go, and I'm excited to see what each of you think. Of course, this week on Coffee with Kenobi, we'll be looking at it much more specifically, breaking things down with some very special guests. I hope you'll join me. In the meantime, have a great week, everybody, and remember, this is a podcast you're looking for. Thanks so much, everybody. See you next time.